Hi there, welcome back to the channel. So I felt pretty good about my guitar parts that I recorded yesterday. The unison bend and the little solo moment where it's just the guitar sitting alone. I felt like it came off okay, and it sounds good. The tones are good. It makes the song kind of, makes it feel finished. I really feel like it feels finished now. And this one, I struggled with it. I got really obsessed with trying to get the vocal and the guitar right, and I had a moment where I was really, struggling with the phrasing going from the verse to the chorus, and it really, put me through the ringer. So I'm very glad to just have this one done and set it aside. I'm excited about, re-recording Are You Ready? And then the two songs I know that are going to come to me while I'm doing that. While I'm recording that song, I'll write these two wonderful tunes. It'll be the best songs I've ever written. So I'm looking forward to that. And setting this one aside. Now what I did, and what I did with all the tracks, but what I did with the two guitar tracks yesterday, is I connect with the cable here that comes with the unit, and I go to this MacBook Pro that it's an old unit. It's at least 15 years old. That thing is old, but it still works enough to do this, which is basically just connecting to the USB, and you go to USB, and it'll say reader, and that's how it connects, and you'll see the icon pop up on the screen. And then I open it up, and in that case it was the last two tracks that I recorded, drag them into Audacity. Once in Audacity, the only thing I really do in there now, it's very minimal post-production, but since I don't have a noise gate on the microphone, whenever there's sound pressure on the mic, or any kind of sounds, typically the noise gate would kick in and you wouldn't hear any of that. Well, I just go in after the fact and erase any sound that, like on the guitar, if you're making noise before the track starts, before you actually play, or any noise afterward. With vocals, it's all the spaces where you're not singing and there's headphone bleed, So I'll go in and remove any sound like that. Then I will do a high pass. Not very much. I don't cut much off, just a little bit to make sure that there's not a bunch of rumbling noise, low bass frequencies that I can't detect, and that would cause an unprofessional sound to kind of make the song not sound as good. And then I might amplify, and that's it. Nothing else. I don't do any kind of EQ in there. I don't try to add effects or anything like that. I don't typically do any effects. The only thing I might add as far as like a sound effect would be in pan EQ. I might add reverb to something or some chorus, but I've actually backed off of that a lot. But the reverb in here is good. It's really subtle. I find that when I try to do reverb in things like Audacity, it just is way too much and it's annoying. So I like to come back in here and just, if I want to add it, just add a little bit, and it's easy to control. So I don't do much post-production, and I had a friend of the channel comment saying he does nothing outside of the Zoom. Everything is inside of here, and you can really do that. It's a little easier for me to just do that little bit of cleanup and retitle the track. I'll copy it if I want to, because I do a lot of doubling of tracks. Not always doubling it, but like once I record it, like I did that with the guitar solo to make it a little more robust. I made a copy of it so it's like a left-right copy. And then you can split them out with the pan EQ and make it more of a stereo split if you want to, if you're doing that. So now I will play back the tracks that I have, this kind of rough mix of the tune, in mastering mode. And in mastering mode, the way you get to it, if you don't know, is you hit Effect, and once you get to Effect, you're going to pick the algorithm mastering. I just go with the first one. I'd like all the settings the way they're sort of set. It's 00 plus alpha. Input screen, got to make sure that says master, otherwise it'll focus on the inputs that are listed, the tracks that are listed. Then I'm going to hit Edit. I've got everything at 50-50 on the hertz, the crossover low and high. Sense is 5, mid is high, low is 5. Then when you go to the EQ, I've got 555 across the board there. The normalizer is 0, no gain on that. 3-band EQ, 555. 62 level. The dimension reso is off. The patch level is 24. The ZNR is off. I don't like noise reduction type stuff. Okay, and that's pretty simple. And you got to make sure you bring your red fader, bring that baby way down before you play back. If you've been recording in one mode and then you go to mastering mode to play back, it's going to be really loud and blow your stuff up, blow your ears up, blow your headphones up, blow your, well, maybe not your headphones, but your ears and your speakers, and just scare everyone. Innocent bystanders will be affected. Okay, so the main thing with this tune is mixing that. When I really go and mix it later, the challenge is to mix it where the vocal and the guitar are perfect, you know, like, because there's a couple different ways to think about putting a vocal in a mix, you know, like a pop mix, a big radio mix. Typically the vocal would be super pumped up front, you know, and loud, you know, and it's kind of sitting on top of the mix. And then there's the old philosophy of sort of mixing the vocal like it's another guitar, where it's like kind of submersed and enmeshed, you know, with the rest of the tracks, like something like more like what Steve Albini would do, or like the album Exile on Main Street, where Mick Jagger talked about really bringing the vocals down, so you'd have to kind of strain for the lyrics, and the vocal, just like I said, sounds more like a guitar instead of being like the main thing, like that's sitting up front. So that's what I'm going to shoot for, so that that main vocal doesn't get, you know, too forward. Okay, so I can't guarantee that all will be right yet. It'll probably sound very, I've noticed that the playbacks of these usually sound very vocal heavy, and that's not the way the real mixes will be when you actually listen to the record. thing I might change that I just realized listening to it is where it says Exciter. I may not have the bend going on that one, and then when you don't do Exciter, the bends come back up again. I'll play with that later, but it felt like they might be clashing. That will probably be fixed. The other way that will be fixed is by panning one or the other. Like I might have the vocal on the left and the unison bends on the right, and that'll probably clean it up. But right then it felt like the unison bends were stepping on it. So if I had to do it stereo and there was no other choice, I would probably pull the unison bend down when it says Exciter, so it wouldn't be fighting with that unison bend. All right, so that's somewhat of a playback, a rough mix, you know, kind of to assess what all I have on the tune. And I'm planning on, since everything is okay as far as it's like recorded okay, now it's just a matter of mixing and stuff like that. I just want to set it aside and forget about it so that when I come back to it, I'll have some new ideas and not be so sick of it, because it just got to be, this one got to be annoying. So anyway, hopefully everyone's having success with their tracks out there and feeling good about their recordings, learning all the little nuances of the Zoom, because like this mastering mode thing really brings out a lot. If you don't know about that yet, play back your stuff in this mastering mode. You know, just follow the little thing I did. Make sure you pull your fader down, go to mastering and just play around. There's a bunch of different patches. You might find one that really just suddenly the song comes. I'll be playing the tune, and then I'll go and check the patches sometimes and see if there's another one that, and especially if you record something live, sometimes you'll find one that you don't usually use that suddenly the recording goes boom, it just comes into focus, makes it sound like you knew what you were doing. All right, so if there's anything I can do to help anyone, let me know next time.